will take care of you through every day or all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you. And I say amen to that song. Our topic this evening is, read for me, aging like fine wine. And no wonder Brother Otti, Elder Otti, has asked me to do this afternoon because I am aged. I'm not ashamed. I'm proud to say, if I see tomorrow, I'm 77. And I say, thanks be to God. Amen. So he probably knew why he asked me to introduce this evening. So this evening, you know, I jot down a little thing about age. I have a problem. I have a thing about age, you know. I love seeing people get old gracefully. And I keep telling my children, I'm going down fighting. I'm not giving in. I am going down fighting. And I have a little thing I say here. Aging, you have a happier outlook and because you're out of the rat race. No more going to work. No more watching the clock. So what a lovely feeling it is when you don't have to get up to the clock. You have more time to spend with yourself and your friends and family. Then comes grandchildren, which gives you pleasure because you don't have the full responsibility, but you have the extra bit to take on with you. Opportunity to fulfill your desires and your dreams. Time to get involved in the activities of your choice. And wisdom from the University of Experience. Now I'm going to hand you over to the lady who has the experience of University of Experience and Study to talk to you this afternoon. So I'm going to introduce Dr. Kane Carroll. Am I right? I said it wrong? Sorry, doctor, sorry. Let me get it right. You see, when you're getting on to, you tend to lose. Your senior moments take charge. Dr. Janet Kane Walters. And this lady, you've heard so much of her this week, which I'm sure you understand how learned this lady is. Listen, her profile, Dr. Walters, currently serves as the Director of Counseling and Psychology Services in the Northern Caribbean University. She has a private practice as well, so whenever you have a little problem, a little ups, you know where to go. She's right here. And she looks pleasant enough that you can go without even worrying. Right. Where she does face-to-face and online session. Yes, Brother Price? Yeah. Yes, counseling and psychologist for marriage and family therapists, certified clinical trauma professional, certified advanced grief counseling. She has everything, plus she has God. No, so she's wicked man when it comes to giving advice. All right? So here, we'll ask you this evening. I'm not going to read out all of it, you know, because it's quite a lot she has. She also provides clinical service to individuals, couples, families, and children. And I'm telling you, brethren, we need that, especially today in how the families are going on. So we ask you now, sit back, relax, say a prayer in your heart for her as Dr. Walters comes to you. God bless you, Dr. Walters. Take charge. Thank you.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. It's good to be here for this part. Welcome those who are online. So today we are talking about aging like fine wine. Now, the presentation is not necessarily just for those of us who are aging. Thank you. But for you, for the other persons who are younger, who will have persons who are aging, need to get some information, and for yourself, what would be some things that you're looking out for as you age? Now, sister, I was hoping you'd continue the presentation. You started so well. I agree with you. I am going to go down fighting. Yes. So if you're 50 and over, yes? All right. So how do you feel about aging? How do you feel about where you are right now? Do you feel that life is unfair to you? Do you feel that you should not have been here? When I was 29 going on to 30, a couple days before my 30th birthday, I cried. I said, "Oh, I'm going to get old." This is 30, you know. And I remember a friend of mine, he was talking with me and he said, I mean, it's just 30, nothing much is going to happen anyway. Anyhow, he consoled me. And day after the 30th birthday, he said, "How you feel?" I said, "Same way." He said, "Well, it's just a number." Yes? So when you pass 30, sister, and you say 40 comes along, it's like 50 just around the corner and say, "Oh, just open the door right away." Right? So when you reach the 50, it's kind of like, okay, I'm up the hill, I'm right there. When you go for the 60 now, shoot off. Yes. So I am officially 61. I'll be 62 November. I feel good. I know I look good. Yes. And I'm confident in what I do. So listen, man, I am going to go down fighting. Sorry. I am going to go down fighting. So why can't we age like fine wine? When we say aging like fine wine, when wine is really mature, it's the best wine ever. I know we don't drink wine, but you need to know. All right. So it has to age for a time. All right. And so I like these encouraging verses. I say, let me put in some verses that will cheer you along. Proverbs 17, verse 6, children's children are the crown of all men, and the glory of children are their fathers. So these are the grandkids now. And we keep saying, I hear the story about the grandkids, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to spoil my grandkid. Gonna spoil them. I know I'm not supposed to, but what they're going to do, I'm going to spoil them. I know my kid's not listening and watching, so I can say that. Psalm 73, verse 26 says, "My flesh and my heart faileth, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever." Deuteronomy 32, verse 7, as we read earlier on, "Remember the days of old, remember the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee." All right, so we talked earlier on up in the week that singleness is not a disease. Guess what? Aging is certainly not a disease. It is a normal progression in a healthy adult life. People don't die of old age, they die of biological processes that break down. So it's not a disease. Listen, if you think you're too young and you won't get old anytime soon, reality check. It's just around the corner and you can't stop it. But can I say we can delay it somewhat? Yeah, we kind of slow it down a bit. Yes. So I am not going totally white as yet. The hair is going to have like a color right now. So what do you expect as you age? Now, for those of us who are persons who are aging, you need to know what's happening to your persons who are 50 and over. And you need to know what's going to happen to you. So wonder what is considered the normal part of aging. And here's what you're to expect and what to do about it. One of the things that aging persons do experience is cardiovascular system. Their cardiovascular system stiffens and the blood vessels and arteries, causing your heart to work a little harder. Because as you remember, I said it's not a disease, but the biological part that is breaking down right now. And so you're going to have to struggle with your heart muscles. They won't adjust to the type of work that you're doing. And so sometimes you'll find that persons have high blood pressure or they have cardiovascular problems. And so what should you do? Now we're saying to you that not everything you can do, but there are some things that you can do. One of the things that you can do is to include physical activities in your daily routine. So now is the time that you have to be deliberate now about your walking, your swimming, or other activities. And so sometimes regular, moderate activities can help you maintain a healthy weight. As I go along, there are going to be some repetitions because most of the things that you'll be experiencing, the way to promote it is to include like physical activities and eating healthy. All right, so eat a healthy diet. So you know your vegetable, your fruits and your grains and all of those things you need to eat. For those persons who you know who smoke, don't smoke. All right, because it hardens the heart arteries and it increases our blood pressure and heart rate. Manage your stress. It's important that as you're coming up to the age of 50, you should at least started to work on getting your finances intact. So if you have not finished paying off the house, you're going to be in trouble. Because for most persons, closing out work would be about 65. So you should be heading towards, reducing your balances. So reduce your outstanding balances as best as you can, because when you go into retirement or you start that side of your life, you want to make sure that it doesn't stress you out. What are some of the things that you can do? You can take and do meditation, you can do therapy, what have you. And so in order to reduce your stress, make sure that you are well secured. Meaning, as I talk about the loans and anything else that you have outstanding, ensure that wherever you're living, it is comfortable. You don't have to be moving up and down the place. Security is an issue for persons, for older persons. And so you have to be mindful of those things around you. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not be fooled. Even if you're 100, things can happen to you. You can be assaulted. Gone are the days when we show the respect to our older folks and so forth. People push you aside just as anybody else. All right? So make sure that you take care of that. Get enough sleep, and it's important for us to get sleep because that is going to help to repair your heart and your blood vessel. Another thing that needs to happen is your weight. So your weight is being affected as you get older because your body burns less calories, and so as you age, it slows down. And so if you decrease activities as you age, you'll continue to gain weight. So you have to make sure that you maintain your weight. I know it's hard. A gentleman sat on that side, and he said, what was it? We're going north. When we are young, you're going north, but when you get older, you're going south. That's how he described it. So everything just seemed to be going slowly down. All right, so some things we have to pick them up. All right? So maintain your weight. And in order to do that, again, routine exercise, moderate. And please, once you're starting an exercise routine, you need to ensure that you check with your doctor because you don't want to start pumping up iron and things. And listen, if you're going to start, you have to start small. So you don't start pumping up 100 pounds. Start with a little 3 pound and 5 pound and you work yourself up. And watch your portion size because your metabolism is working slowly. It means that your portion size would have to be smaller. Your teeth, yes, your teeth is affected by aging as well because your gums start to pull back from your teeth. And there's some medication like your your blood pressure medication. Some persons will have dry mouth, and so you have to be very, very mindful. So the gum will get sore, and so you have to be wetting your mouth at times. And so you have to be mindful of your teeth and your gum, and the possibility exists that you will have decay and infection. So one of the things that you need to do, floss and brush. So gone are the days maybe that we used to use the hard toothbrush. Now when you reach a certain age, now you might have to settle for the little soft one because the gum can't manage the hard one, all right? Brush your teeth twice a day because you want to make sure that it's clean between the teeth. Use regular floss and schedule your checkup with your dentist or your hygienist. Your joints, the story this morning, she was talking about, the young lady was doing the children's story, and she spoke about the joints, muscles, and bones. Yes, it is being affected as well. Because as you age, your bone tends to shrink in size and density. And so there are times when your height would have been decreased. So I can't even imagine, I'm 5'1". Oh dear, hope I don't go to 4'9". I'll be very short. So it makes it a little bit shorter. So it's so important for you to take care of your muscles, your joints, and so forth right now. Get adequate calcium. So some persons do it with supplements. You can get them in certain foods such as dairy products, broccolis, salmon, tofu, and all of those things. Make sure you get enough vitamin D. Now, we have the sun. Guys, when I travel overseas, I appreciate the sun that I get in Jamaica. I went to Canada, my husband and I went to Canada in December, and I left when it was minus 40 something. And man, I really wanted little sun. So I appreciate the sun, appreciate what you have. So go out for a few minutes in the morning sun, not in the broiling 12 o'clock sun. That one will burn you up. All right, so other things you can get, other sources you can get vitamin D, tuna, salmons, and so forth. Include physical activity, as we said earlier on. Avoid substance use. And so for some persons, they might not drink alcohol, but they might abuse some other substance. Your digestive system again. Remember, things are not as it was before, and so there's some medication also that will affect the digestive system. And what you want to do is to prevent constipation, and you want to eat a healthy diet, and include activities, physical activities, and don't ignore the bowel movements. Your eyes and ears do get affected, and so for somebody who is older and might not be able to hear or see, it's best to speak. Go in front so the person can see and hear you. Because most of the times what we do, we don't really listen to what somebody is saying, you know. We actually read lips. If you notice that when we were putting on the mask and persons talking, you have to move your mask to speak because people are looking at your mouth to see what you're saying. And so when you have problem with the ears and the eyes, though, you have to make sure that you're close up to objects if you have problem with your eyesight, and the ears, make sure that you are, whatever it is that needs to be done, to go and check your doctor to ensure that it is okay, or if you need something else. And so sometimes you'll hear older person says they're having a problem with the frequency. The frequency might be a little bit chippy, high-pitched. That's how this affects the persons who are aging. Schedule your checkup and follow with your doctor about your glasses or contact lens, hearing aid, whatever it is that you need. Take precaution. If you have to go outside, please wear your sunglasses or maybe a wide brim hat. Now I'm understanding why older people wear this big hat. I thought they were just old, but they're blocking the sun as well. Your bladder and your urinary tract is also being affected, and so your bladder is weakened, and so your pelvic, the bladder muscle and the pelvic floor muscles have difficulty emptying the bladder, and so you have to be very mindful of this, know what your body is saying, and things that can contribute to it is overweight, nerve damage from diabetes, and certain medication. And what you need to do is to go to the toilet regularly, maintain your weight. As I said, don't smoke. Some people do special exercise like the Kegel exercise where you do the pelvic floor muscle. because you have the sensation to want to go to the bathroom when you really don't want to, because it can't, the muscles not holding up whatever it's supposed to hold up, all right? Your skin is affected, your skin gets very thin, and so you might be accustomed to certain things, or you might exfoliate, and so when you were younger, you could do this thing hard. Now you can't do that anymore. You have to make sure you get the mild ones, and so be very careful about what you put on your skin, because your skin becomes very thin. And sometimes you might notice, you might get bruised very easily because of the skin, and wrinkles, age spot, and small growth cells are very common. All right, so you find the dark spots on your face and sometimes on the hands and so forth. A way to do that is to be gentle, shower or bathe in warm water, not hot water. Your skin is already thin, so you have to make sure that it's warm enough, and you use mild soap and moisturizer. Take precautions when you're going outside, use sunscreen, and wear protective clothing. And check your skin regularly so you can report it to the doctor. And as usual, don't smoke. I find a person who smoke, I can always tell, the face starts to wrinkle. When you're even young, you see the face wrinkling up because if the skin is burning with the smoke coming out from the cigarette. All right, your memory and thinking skills. I know for some of us we say, but I'm having this challenge long before. Well, it gets worse when you get older. And so your brain undergoes changes, and so sometimes you have minor effects on your memory or thinking skills. And so sometimes you forget some names and words, and so my grandkids have names that start with C and X. So kind of like, which one of them know? Babes, is it Zander, Zylas? So sometimes I just say, come baby, I can't remember them, all right? So one of the ways that you can promote healthy cognitive health is to include physical exercise. You notice I keep repeating physical exercise. It is so, so important. So for those of us who keep looking at the machine like myself, and every morning I said, you know, I am going to start this morning. Okay, let me start next morning. The yoga mat is there. I can lie down on it. Tomorrow. And tomorrow runs into another week, another month, another year. Please make sure that you have your physical activity routine. Eat a healthy diet. Stay mentally active. For some persons do word games. Some persons take up new hobbies and so forth to keep the brain active. Be social. Make sure that you interact with others, and this will help to ward off depression and stress, because these do contribute to memory loss. Treat your cardiovascular diseases, and as usual, quit smoking if you were smoking before. Now, even if you're 50 and over, whether you're 50 and over, you still have your intimate, the sexual desires. All right, you're not dead yet. All right, so with age, however, sex needs and performance may change because of certain medication that you're on, or there might be certain sicknesses that you have, and so how you would have enjoyed intimacy before would have changed. All right, so you have to alter some of the things that you do, positions and so forth and so forth. Try to make it PG. Share your needs and concern with your partner. Let your partner know these are the struggles that I am facing. What can we do? Get regular exercise, because this will help to release the sexual hormones, and it will, the flexibility, the cardiovascular health will be improved, and all of this will contribute to good sexual health. So don't put it aside and say, I am 50 or I'm 60 and that's it. I'm done with that. The shop lock up now. You can't stop the aging process, but you can make a choice that improves your ability to maintain an active life. So do the things you enjoy and spend time with your loved ones. All right. So now you know what to expect, right? So now what do I do now? Here are some suggestions that you can do. Nurture your curiosity. Okay, so you spend so many hours at work and with family and friends and church and everything. What about making a list of things that you'd be interested in, something that you'd want to try? Maybe you didn't want to do it when you were young, you never had the money. Now you have the time, you have the money, and so forth. Why not try something different? All right, so if something that you have always wanted to do, make a change, yes? Being able to focus on your needs and goals, and this is one of the things that you can do. For some persons, I saw in the news, there was a 93-year-old lady? She just finished, I think it's her bachelor's degree, if my memory serves me right. And it's not about she's going into the work world now. It's a matter of self-actualization. There's something that will just it's self-fulfillment that you can do. For some person. Wow. All right. So therefore, there are things that you would have wanted to do as when you were younger, but because of the children and so forth, you weren't able to do that. Another thing is engage in new and loved activities. This can help you to be physically healthy and happier. Let's say you want to do painting or dancing or collecting coins, whatever it is that you would want to start. Engage in something that you really would love to do. Yes, I keep saying that I want to pick up back on doing embroidery. And I keep saying it, and I keep saying it. Maybe I need to start doing it and stop saying it. Be open-minded to new activities. Yes, because sometimes we are just in our little box. You want to be able to be adventurous too and be open-minded. If travel is a possibility, think about traveling to other places that you would have loved to go. Maybe it's a good time now for you to go to some places. Some of us don't even know our island, Jamaica. We're just stuck in our little community. It's a good time now for you to enjoy going to different places and make sure that, and look at different perspectives. Take the roads less traveled when you travel because you want to see places, stop at destinations, and so forth. So you want to make sure that you're not in a rush to do this. Expand your education. Some persons will take lessons in a particular thing that I might be interested in. I might have wanted to do dressmaking all along. It's a good time to take a class. Don't ever say that you're too old to do it. When you start telling yourself that, you have defeated the whole purpose. What you need to say, I can do it. Yes? When I shared with you last Sabbath, when I started university, I was 42. And I did, my mantra was, failure was not an option. I could not go in there and fail. But guess what? As my sister said when she came up here, that I had the doctorate in experience. So I was able to use my experience to get through the classes. Trust me. I had to double up, but I wanted to make sure that I do my work. So challenge yourself. Maybe it's a good time for you to go to university. You never know. Talk to me about NCU. I can always give you the information. All right? Taking classes and continuing education might open up new and exciting experiences for you. Perhaps at this age, you could be a consultant in a particular area. You might be working in an area now and you want to do advanced training for consultancy. That could be a possibility. Who says that you can't do it? Participate in your community. One of the things that is really uplifting is when you participate in your community, and so you could be member of the Chamber of Commerce, you can participate in other engaging activities in your community. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to embrace your age as much as you can. Embrace it. It's not going to go anywhere, it's going to go more. Participate in political process or like school boards, and so if this is what you would like to do. So participate in community activities. What about volunteer in your local area? This is a good way for you to engage with other persons. There are certain skills that you would have possessed over the years. This is a good way for you to mentor younger persons. You can volunteer at schools and hospitals and community center. At least you have something to do. Don't stay home and say, boy, I stopped working. I soon stop working. I don't have anything else to do. That is when you're going to die quickly. Because it's almost like you're giving up on life. Other things that you can do, that you're capable of doing, go ahead and do it. I make my plans, I'm retiring. Where are we now? 23? I should be retiring in 2024. I have my plans when I continue. Because I'm going to retire from an organization. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop practicing. I have my practice all set up. So I don't have a problem. I have some projects that I would want to start. So what are the plans? Are you going to sit back and say, oh, this is it? No, I am ready to go. Offer to help friends and family members. And so maybe this is one of the ways you can volunteer to help younger families who might need your assistance. Connect with new people. It's a good way to get to know other people in our age range. How many people you know? Do you have activities that you all can enjoy? Do you have a special club that you have? It's not the end of the world. All right? And so you can meet people through community events. You can meet persons at random places. You can meet persons through friends. And so therefore it's important that you get to connect with people and share ideas. Keep a schedule. As you get older, we talk about the memory. Sometimes you might not remember that you have a particular meeting, or so it's important to keep a schedule of your daily activities. You know where you're going, what you need to do, and so forth. And this will make you feel more productive instead of feeling, boy, I didn't get to do this, I don't know what I'm doing. Maintain your schedule. It is encouraging. I'm encouraging you to seek your doctor regularly, because as we age, we have different needs and we are susceptible to different diseases, and so therefore it's important to check your doctor regularly, get your checkup, make sure that whatever is happening, you can nip it in the bud, and observe your body function. So whatever your body is saying, don't ignore it. Make sure that your doctor is aware of it. Eat healthy meal, as we said. Nutrients-rich food, vegetables, meat, lean protein, and so forth. And you can get between 1,600 to 2,800 calories a day. And this is all dependent on your gender and how active you are. Get your cardiovascular exercise going. Listen to your body as you work out. All right. Perform strength training exercises. As you get to this age, it's important for you to seek the help of trainers. These personal trainers will what's the word now? They'll be able to advise you as what type of exercise you are able to do, because one of the exercises that you need to do is a strength training exercise. And this is where you can try Pilates or yoga or things like those, because you want to keep the muscles going, and so they can advise you accordingly. All right? Because like Pilates, it's not as heavy, it don't exert so much energy, but it allows you to pull the muscles at different parts of your body. Always listen to your body. Sleep is so important. So when you need to rest, please rest. And if you're tired and you don't want to exercise, allow yourself to rest. Stop anything that may cause dizziness, headache, or worsen or shortness of breath. And we're recommending that you get at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. And this will help your mind and body to stay healthy. All right, I hope I've shared a few tips with you, some encouraging thoughts. I am now open for questions and comments. I must be honest with you, it took a lot to put it together because, there's so many different areas of aging. I'm going to go ahead now and take the question.
Madam, what is Kalate?
Palate?
Is it Kalate or Palate?
Palate.
Oh.
Pilates. It's a form of exercise similar to yoga. But they do a lot of stretching, and you use it also when you have injuries, like back injuries and stuff. They use it, so you do a lot of stretching. And you don't work out you work out on mats and socks. You don't work out with sneakers. Yes, that's what Pilates is. All right, any other question? Go ahead.
You had made mention of getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep. What if after receiving that much sleep, you're still tired throughout the day?
If you're getting 7 to 9 hours sleep and you're still tired, you need to check it out because if something is wrong. Because sometimes we can get the hours sleeping, but the mind is still running. You might be overthinking, and so you're not fully rested even though you're sleeping. Because there's a difference between sleeping and resting. You can be resting for 7 to 9 hours, but you're not actually in deep sleep. All right, so you need to check it out. Because sometimes when persons have emotional issues, they're overthinking, they're anxious, they might be depressed, they can't seem to get that sleep. They might lie down, but they can't sleep. I hope that answers your question. But I've known of persons experiencing that, and sleep has been an issue. Are there any questions online?
All right, so aging and staying healthy and so on. The last time I heard is that we could, if we eat right, exercise, keep the New Start program, take care of our mental health. I think we add, how many years again we add to our lives at Adventist? Is it 11? 11 years, right?
Yes.
So.
Adventists add 11 years.
Adventists. Yes.
They did a survey about persons who keep the Sabbath. I was listening to something that they did recently.
Yes. So I guess the question I want to ask for is, in terms of the timeline or in terms of the age differences between the male and the female, are there some notable things that happen at certain age that you could say, okay, look for that at 70, 80, 90, that, things you could, I know you mentioned them, like the decline in memory and so on and so forth, but is there like a point where, in aging, where you could say, okay, when you reach this period, expect this to happen, maybe menopause or, andropause, is there a certain age range? Is there a range in which you can expect certain things? Maybe dementia is more likely to happen, at a certain point.
All right. Let me see if I can answer you as best as I can. The age, I mentioned from 50 from 50, you're likely to experience some of these issues that I spoke about, whether it's the mental health issues or the physical or the biological issues. I am not able to say specifically that if you're 70 to 80, this is what you must or should have. Because once you start hitting 50 or so, you are prone to any of these things. All right? But it's a matter, as I was discussing last time with my husband, if you have not taken care of your body before coming up to this age, then you might be, it might be earlier for you. Anybody else want to help me with that one? Did I answer it? Okay.
Dr. Walters, the onset of many of these conditions or diseases are all dependent on your physical health, how conditioned your body has been, how you have taken care of yourself. Whilst some may come at you unannounced, they just, boom, just on you. But on a different note, I'm painting a scenario. You are a senior citizen. You're not retired. So you're basically now living off your nest egg, as they call it. But you have adult children. And they have needs that they can't fulfill. And they seem to think that you are the one who should bankroll them. It's good to take care of your children. I mean, your children are your children until somebody dies. But when do you tell them no? And how do you tell them no? Or should you tell them no? And how do you do that without putting a relationship at a point where it may never be repaired, where you may not even get a good burial?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, Ella Otti. Very interesting one. And we have noticed in recent times that children tend to stay home a little longer than, well, in my age. Stay home longer. I started working at 19. I finished school at 18, a couple of months after I was 19, and my father said, listen, it's time for you to go work, come out, go work, or you can't stay here. That was not a discussion. So I started working 7 days after my 19th birthday. But what is happening now, we're noticing that the generation now, we're seeing more persons living at home with parents. Now, it is as parents, we have I'm trying to say how best I can put it, our responsibility is to take care of our kids up to age 18, right? At 18, they are now adults. But give and take that they have to go to college and we still maintain them. But we have to encourage our children to start working so they can finance themselves, right? When you start, you have to say no in an assertive way. Explain, you have to work. And what does that mean? That if you don't do that, your children will always depend on you because you're not saying no assertively or you don't mean no. remember that your pension is 1/3 of it's about 1/3 of what you used to earn before. So that fund that you're getting cannot stretch to so many persons, right? So you have to encourage your adult, we don't call them adult children, but let's say adult children, we call them protege. Adult children to go and find work. And if they don't want to, you have to, can I say throw them out? You have to take a stand, or else they're going to live off you. What happened when you can't, remember you're not getting an income like what you used to get, how are you going to maintain yourself? This is a discussion, I think, Elder, that we have to hold with our family. You see what I mean? Have these discussions with your children. So when we're talking about having family time, these are some of the things we need to talk about. All right, Elder, let me, there was a hand that was over that side.
I just want to extend what I was just saying, because
yes.
I should have been clearer to speak specifically to those that I know are employed. They are working, not sitting at home. They are working, but they're still at your house. They're working, but they think that they should share into your money.
The Bible says that they must leave.
And cleave.
So if they don't cleave, the first thing what the Bible says that they must do, leave. Because, let me talk to you young people. If you live in your parents' house, you're still a child, even if you're working. Because they cannot see you beyond that. And you want to say, but I'm an adult, but you're living under their roof. So they're seeing you as a child, and so they're tempted to treat you as one. So what you need to do is to find your little roof so you can start learning how to be independent and know how to run your money. So parents, some of us need to get a whipping. We need to run them out. Did your parents do that to you? How many of us can sit in here got the option to stay until we gray? None of us. For many of us, I should say. We were told to get out, whether we're male or female, right? Whatever you had to do. So we need to let our kids know it's time to go. I know it's going to feel away, and it's not that you don't love them, but you need to explain. You need to build your own family life. Whether it's a single family, or a couple family, or a extended, whatever. You need to create your family. Elder, go ahead.
Yes, Doc, I really like the way you're trying to put it. But I think there's something else as parents that we need to do. From that child is coming up and begins to learn sense, we should teach them a responsibility. And there should be no point when we should say to them, you have to go. As a matter of fact, we should be saying to them, no, not until tomorrow. I don't think you're ready to go until tomorrow. Because you should be teaching them from a young age that you had a responsibility to come up and to take care of that. Listen to me, your shoes, you have to clean your shoes now. And you have to get out for school. And the same way you tell them that, listen to me, at the age of 18, you're going to go out to work. That is why you need to learn these things now. Right. And you need to tell them, I have two little friends, young lady and a young man, and their parents actually teaches them to work from a tender age. When they do chores in the house that are not theirs as yet, when they clean daddy's shoes, they would get some money, and that would make up that money for them. And at the end of some time, maybe at the end of their birthday, at the end of the year, at the end of some time when they are going out on trips, daddy would say, listen to me, this is what you work from when. And I like that. I didn't get that with my parents, but I come to learn that. And there comes a time when we need to say to our children, listen, not next week, but week after next, you will not be here. And we tell them that years in advance, because we have been teaching them along the line that, listen, sometime you're going to go and you can't pass this time. Unless some of the explanation you made. They are going to college and we have to help them, but they
Right.
know that they are only here because of this condition.
Okay. One of the things that we spoke to our children about was that when you reach 18, you need to get out. And they were worried sick when 18 was coming up because we already had this conversation. But then they went to college, and after going to college now, we taught them how to live on their own, how to manage the finance, how to manage the food and so forth. And so they were able, you could see what we taught them, that they were actually putting it in practice.
We have 3 kids.
Sorry, dear.
2 girls, 1 boy.
Sorry.
And one of the things that we told them was that we need them to have a good education. We need them to learn, Elder Otti, the skills of life. We want to know that we as parents equip them
Yes.
so that they are able to take care of themselves out there. We also made sure that we told them, your mother and I are spending to send you to university. At the end of our spending, if we don't see a piece of paper to show that what we spent was spent well, we are getting a good lawyer who is not biased, is not looking at father, daughter, or son, father, or son, mother. He is just looking at a job to be done. We are getting a good lawyer to sue you for all those money that we waste. Because we could have bought a bag of flour, a bag of rice, peas and oil, that we would be big and fat. Hello? But because we want you to be better than us, that's why we're spending. My daughter came and she said, Daddy, I know that I can't pay back. So I make sure that we pass. Listen, brethren. Our responsibility as parents is to train our children in such a way that at a specific time, they will know what is to be done. You can't stay home to become a burden on us. No sanky, no sing so. You as parents need to let your children know what you are training them in and what they are being taught to do, is so that when it is time to leave, they can leave gracefully. Amen? It's not that you are pushing them out, because if anything should happen to them outside, they still have a place to come back. But it shouldn't be that you have 25, 30-year-old working
40.
and living at home on you. Oh no! We are making sure that we put you out.
And while he's giving the mic, remember, parents, that we do not parent our children after 18. We are their coach. We coach them, all right? That's one of the things. So be very mindful of what I say. So I hear people say, oh, I'm parenting. You don't parent your adult children. No, you coach them. And so we're talking, so you're talking to an adult, so you need to address the person at an adult level. Yes, go ahead, Elder.
I am going back to a topic that really affects people, and that's financing again. I find that a lot of persons did not make ample preparation for their senior years. As a consequence of that, they find themselves in a position where they don't want to be, which is being dependent on others for their survival. A position that has caused abuse in so many ways. Sometimes when you hear the horror stories, it makes you want to cry. So I'm here to say to those who are not yet old or considered senior citizen, those who don't even smell the fresh air of senior citizens yet, much less a thought, and those who are in high school want to graduate and go to university. If there's one advice I can give you, is that today, start making preparation for tomorrow. Whatever it is that you can do, you must do it.
And it's not too early.
It is not too early to do it. Matter of fact, if I knew how to have done some things some years ago, I would have been much better off than I am now. Because, you know, sometimes you look at some things and you don't want to take the risk because you're saying, I am sure of this because it's in my right hand. I have it. But I'm uncertain of that, which can come in my left hand. But life in and of itself is a risk. The good thing, when you have youth on your side, when you take the risk, and if it goes belly up, you have time to correct it.
That's right.
So I'm saying to my young friends, make the investments now. Do it now, while you're at this stage of your life, before you reach to the point when you are wondering, which poorhouse are they going to take me? It is wise to do it now.
Yes.
Have it and let them thief it from you than not to have it at all.
Okay.
All right?
Wise word, elder. So I hope our young people are listening. I too, elder, when I started working at 19 and somewhere there they talk about retirement and I'm like, excuse me? That's way, but the way came so close. What is $5 today is 5 cents tomorrow. All right? So you have to make your preparation from now. And so, as I said, you have to take care of yourself because you cannot depend on your children to do that for you. If they give you something, that's good. But you can't solely depend on them. You have to make a preparation for yourself as well. All right. Did I see another hand on that side? Or yes, go ahead.
Yes, Doc. We're talking about aging and, you know, the elderly. And this conversation about having children and them moving out. But I am here contemplating, looking at some persons in the Bible and want to ask, is there really a time appointed that the children should go? In a Christian context and setting. We know that legally it is said at 18, you know.
That's the age of majority.
Yes. But as Christians, you know, looking at the Bible, is there an appointed time when we can say, boy, a time for you to go? Because when I look, I don't necessarily see that happening, especially with the patriarchs of old. Their children were with them. I think of Jacob, all his 12 sons with him. They may not necessarily be living under the same house or in the same roof, but at least they are with him. And then another person was bringing up the point that, although this is not really biblical, but even though the Indians, how they operate, where they have their, people with them. So is there really a time appointed where we can say, all right, you fi go because the time come for you to go. Is there something? You know, because looking at scripture, looking at these people, realize that they had their children with them and their children were productive. It wasn't as if they didn't have their own. They did have their own, but they were still with the family as a community. So, you know, your 2 cents on that.
Boy, it's going to be 1 cent. But culture differs. Culture differs. If you look on, like in the Indian culture, you realize that the grandparent is the matriarch. So it doesn't matter who get married or whatever. She takes care of the family. So you really don't have any input in rearing your child or your children. All right? So that's the culture. It's kind of hard. I know in the Bible, yes, that was a cultural thing as well. But in our culture, do you really, I don't know, my 1 cent, no, turn half cent. Do we really want to have, or, in all honesty, you can't become independent in somebody else's place. Can I put that as a 1 cent? All right. Somebody wants to help me. What about your privacy? All right. Let me, she's going to help me. Give me your 1 cent.
All right. Good afternoon again, everyone. It's not so much about what Brother Kirkland would have said, but in terms of the age group, when we look at an 18-year-old, just finishing upper or lower 6, and even at 22, 21 around there, just out of university, you're seeking a job. For me, if you have your child and you grow them with good principles and values and all of that, instead of sending them out into the world to pay rent, for example, say they would have contributed $50,000 to rent, and they're now contributing $25,000 to household utilities, and they're able, especially if the parent own the home and can facilitate the child being there, and they're now able to put that $25,000 towards a mortgage. Wouldn't that be better than to say, oh, you need to know the financial aspect of, you know, being independent and renting? So now instead of moving out and going into their own home, they're going into a rent house when, you know, it's not so much of them living on the parents, but it's in order for them to create generational wealth. So instead of paying your rent, and you take 10, 15 years to achieve something, when you could have done that in 5 years, is what I'm saying.
Okay, we can see that scenario there. And yes, that can happen. But I'm not saying that as they come 18, you throw them out. Can I say situational? Yes? But I don't think that it should be a situation where the dependency is on the parents or the grandparents for that matter. So it can't be the dependency on the parents.
Question. You have a number of parents who have a lot of children and say they are their pension. What's your take on that?
Okay. And that is something very popular in Jamaica. Our children are not our pension payers. As adults, we need, as Elder Otis says, we need to take care of our own investment for future payments. So you can't depend on your children. Suppose the children don't have any work or they can't support them, they can only support themselves. What are you going to do? You have to make the preparation for yourself. And this is how you're going to teach your children to make the preparation for themselves as well. So that is something, and I think they're advocating for it now with the ministry of, which are the ministry now, that, you know, you can contribute to your NIS to make sure that you put down something there. All right? So that should not be happening. You can't depend on your children for your pension.
Okay. When I put forth the scenario of the people working and still living in their parents' house, I'm happy that my sister brought up those points. because I was waiting later to bring them on. The fact is, there's none of us in church this afternoon that are heartless parents.
Right.
And I want to put that out. An important thing for us in this generation is for our children to be better than we are. I know that's my position. My kids must be better than I am. They must do better than I ever did. But guess what happened? I need to help them to complete that process. And as a sister says, why would I allow you to go out and pay this whole heap of money when I can tell you, say, listen, as a financial advisor, I'm saying to you, put that money towards getting yourself a mortgage. I am not going to send my child out in the world, in this world especially, as it is right now. I'm going to ensure that they know how they're going to step or the ground is. So yes, we will have challenges. We'll have financial situations to deal with. But I think to save ourselves a heartache and a pain further down the road, it is best that we balance ourselves and know what we're doing. But I said it in the first place for us to understand that as seniors, you must be careful of how you're going to manage that situation with your finances, that's a pension, and having a relationship, a nurturing relationship with an individual that's called your son or your daughter living under your same roof. Because after a time, it no longer becomes your roof. It's really the family's roof that you're under. You understand? So we just have to know how to balance this thing with no intention of making anybody feel any less than they really are, because we know the challenges of the time.
Yes, but I like the idea of, but that's something that you're negotiating and you're talking about. So yes, I can see through that one. As you were talking about the mortgage and so forth. And those are the discussions you want to have, but not so much dependency on your older parents, your elderly parents to take care of you. All right? Go ahead, my sister.
Okay, 2 points. So the first one, you'll have 3 different children and they're just different, right? You might have one that at the age, they can't wait for high school to finish so they can go about their business. Then you have one now who is the type that is maybe a little more tender. Not that they don't have the academic achievements going for them, but different children will respond differently. And you will know as a parent that, boy, this one, I can correct this one using this. And for this one's a little more tender, so I have to be very careful what I do with this one. It doesn't mean then that you're not going to lay it on the table what you're expecting from them, but if you see that this one is struggling a little more than the other, it means that this one maybe needs to stay around a little longer. For whatever reason, that one just never catch up. And you have to spend some quality time talking to that one. Another thing is having a discussion with your children. So you talk to them, what is it that you're going to do after college? You know, you have to have some plans. Make sure that they have their little career things sorted out, and you can help them too to find out where is it that they can go. You know, help them to check around for the university or whatever, and if that doesn't work out, what could they do in the interim? You try to get them to be an intern or to volunteer, because when I left college, I didn't get a job the same time. I was basically still a teenager. I had to now do voluntary service, so my parents were with me through that process until I started working. Yes, and of course, when you start to work, you're not going to just milk everything that your parents have. So at that point, you know that if light bill, you have to contribute water, you have to contribute. You can't just be there as a big log causing more problems. You should be actively doing something to move forward. So you have to help them to chart their course.
Right.
So that they don't think they can just spell off and, it's all good. But it's about having a discussion and deciding before we decide, we say go.
So the underlying thing, we need to talk with our family members.
Have a family discussion.
Have the family discussion and have it from early. All right? And so you're going to change some things, you're going to review some things, and so forth. So it starts with a conversation. All right. Go ahead. Ella Otti?
I think following up on what Chantal said about staying home and saving that money that they would normally pay towards rent, save it towards, making a down payment on their house. I think there should be some timeline that is put in place in those situations, because some children will tell you, oh, they want to save towards the deposit for their house, but are they really? They're probably just using that extra money to, live a fantastic life. They buy expensive this and drive this expensive car, but really they're not putting any plans in place to really save that money towards, the deposit for the house. So maybe that discussion needs to be had to say, listen, I'm giving you 5 years after you start working. By that time, you should have X amount of money that you're going to pay down on your house. If after 5 years, this has not been achieved, well, maybe you're on your own at that point. But if that is the road we're going to be traveling, then that sort of discussion needs to be had.
Very well. And bear in mind, though, as we get older, it's not that we don't want our kids around, but we need some alone time, maybe with yourself or with your partner, because over the years you might not have gotten that. And so this is an opportunity for you to find yourself, find some things that you'd want to do, because you didn't get a chance to do that when you were younger. And now that you don't have babies and persons holding on to you, it's a good opportunity. So, have the discussions, as you said, timeline and so forth. The important thing is that your children should know where they're heading. You should be able now to help your children to go on the right path. So whatever skills you need to teach and whatever it is that you need to do to help them so that they can move on, because you want them to become well-rounded adults. All right? You don't want them to go out there and they don't have the skills and the training and all those things. You need them to be well-rounded so that they can go out and become good adults.
An additional point I wanted to make also, I think it is important to get them out because they also need to go and buck them foot and learn from life's hard lessons. I think we can shield our children so much and no more. They have to learn certain lessons for themselves.
Quite so.
So we can't, keep them there sheltered and say we're protecting them from the big bad world, because they will never be empowered and feel confident enough to take on this big bad world that is out there.
And it creates some level of anxiety too when we're not able to do that. Are there any other questions? Oh, one more question, yes.
Another question,
the ladies behind you, when you're finished.
Yeah. We're at one of those paradox of life where you want to get rid of them, but there's a point when you want them to come back. One of life paradox.
Yes.
You want them to come back because now you need to see your children more often. You need to see your grandchildren more often. Maybe you need to see your great-grandchildren more often. Because now you find that you're alone because your spouse have died, daddy or mommy has been buried, and the only thing you have at your feet when you sit on the rocking chair is a puss.
Or a dog.
Or a dog. Now, I'm saying this to say that this is where care needs to be applied when we're encouraging our kids to grow wings and fly out of the nest. Be gentle with that if and when the time comes. Encouraging is different from pushing.
Right.
And we as parents, we need to understand the difference. We just have to understand the difference. Because if that paradox works in the wrong way,
They won't be coming back.
have mercy.
But somebody mentioned, you know, how when they're leaving,
Yes.
they should leave in a
In a good way.
right.
All right?
So, Sister Booker, can you say gently push? Can gently push?
I would think that you remove pushing altogether out of the statement.
All right,
You
very
understand?
good.
But we just have to know that this is the paradox. If it repeats itself in the wrong way, it causes pain and suffering.
Okay.
And for older folk, I'm saying we just have to be careful.
All right. The
right.
lady behind you, she had her hand up. The lady.
Madam Speaker, Maypen has been different for me. I find that because there was no university in Maypen, the university did what it had to do, and I think they left home a little bit too soon. After sixth form, the first one went. When she was going, the second one, who had just finished fifth form, decided to go to Kingston with her and her dad.
Yes.
And she had a grouse with the famous school down there that wears red, because she thought that they should have done a little bit better in the actual exam.
Okay.
Yeah. But she came through marvelously. And now she went and she found a school. She just saw a school and said, Dad, there's a school. I don't want to go back down there. And when she came home, all was planned, and it kind of knocked me off my feet. It was planned. She went to Campion. So the two of them left. But I have a son who looked like I had to kick him out of the yard and he still wouldn't go. So they are so different. They are very different.
Very different.
Yes.
Somehow I believe that girls, females, will be more willing to leave than male. That's just maybe based on what I've seen. So, all right, there was a question there, Elder.
I don't want us to take any more questions, not even from Brother Owen.
Okay.
I want us to cut off right there. And I'm sorry, Brother Owen. All right?
I had to put this one up.
Go ahead.
It's there. Oh,
Look at that.
look at that.
16 and 17.
So 42 years, and we'll put up another set of pictures after that.
Okay. Thank you.
Such as Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 8 days.
After 8 days.
8 days.
8 days. 10 presentations. 9. 2 Saturdays.
2 Saturdays.
1 each night.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 6 and 4.
10. 10 presentations.
Yes, yes.
Listen, she's tired. Come on, man. Stop the... Shama. Doc, we start the ball rolling on Sabbath afternoon, choosing the right partner. People were excited. Then Sunday evening, we recreated history. We came back to the sanctuary on a Sunday evening for the first time. In how many years, Ella? 3 years.
Wow.
After 3 years, Maypen had its first Sunday
And I was a part of
evening,
it.
and you helped us in making that history. Thank you for that, Doc. Sunday evening, to love and be loved. Monday, strengthening the parent-child relationship. Tuesday, Good men make great families. Say amen.
Amen.
Gentlemen, come on now. Good men make great families. All right? Then we looked at it's hard to say goodbye, understanding grief and bereavement. That was a touchy seminar and presentation. Dr. Walters can tell you the amount of person that I've spoken to her since then. Being single-minded, whole, and living life to the full. I don't think the singles can complain. The jewels of the family, children. Then you have finding love. No, we did that already. All I'm saying is that if for any reason you had missed any of these presentations, I think there are some, you can get on YouTube, right? But you have missed the opportunity to ask a question that may have been burning for many years. Dr. Walters, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think our church got this seminar at a time when we needed it the most. Because Satan has been attacking the families in this church, left, right, center, from top and bottom. And so God would have chosen you at such a time as this to help us through this very choppy waters, so that at least we can understand where we will go from here. And for us to know that there is help. Brethren, there is help available for us. There is help available. God has provided his people and he has prepared them for such a thing as this, helping one another. Dr. Walters, thank you, and thank you.
You're welcome.
But I can't go without saying thanks to your close protection security. Elder Walters. See? Thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for being here. I think we only missed him one night.
Yes.
One night.
One night.
But he was very much present and accounted for. Thank you, sir, for your time.
And our son who was...
And your son, the driver.
Yes, he chauffeured us so nice.
Who made sure that you were picked up and taken home safely. And we thank God for having taken her here and taken her back home, she and her family. Doc, we have a small token of appreciation that we want to give to you. It's not big. Come here, Brother Reeves. Turn the bowl, let them see it, no, brethren. Show up the thing, no, man. Show.
Oh.
What do you guys think?
Wow.
It's beautiful, right?
Yes.
It's beautiful. Pictures, please, pictures. Ah, beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Walters. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming, and remember we need to look about the documents for the membership and everything. All right?
All right, guys, thank you very much.
All right, let us just stand and just have a word of prayer. I'm going to ask Elder Buckley to come and pray this final prayer for us, for the families of the church and for its leaders. And I know we can't forget our young people of all stages.
Let us pray. Sovereign God, we honor your name. Thank you for the blessings we've received from last Sabbath until this hour. Lord, we recognize that you are doing all that you can to heal our families. And so, God, I pray that what was presented to us by Dr. Walters will at least open the doors that we can begin to look at these issues and begin to take steps to address them where we have conflicts and challenges in our relationships one with the other. Oh Lord, I place before you the couples of this church. Realize that the enemy is wroth and so many marriages are under rock right now. But God, we know you've never lost a battle, and we are asking you, God, to mend the broken fences and bring our people back together. I pray for the young people who are experiencing identity crisis and all manner of problems. God, remind them whose they are and help them, oh God, to walk as children of light. Be with those of us who are retired or near retirement. Help us, Lord, to remember that you do not forsake your children even when the gray hairs come, but that you will continue to be there for us and to take us through whatever challenges we face. In a special way, Lord, I pray for Dr. Walters and her husband, that you will continue to bless them and empower them so that they in turn can continue to pour into others and help to mend the broken fences and to bring healing and restoration to your children. Lord, as we approach this new and untried week, we know not what lies ahead, but we know, God, that you're already there. And so we commit ourselves into your care and keeping and ask, God, that you would navigate the week ahead of us, that you would be beside us, before us, behind us, and just carry us safely through another week. Bless us, grant us your peace and your forgiveness, we pray, and say thanks in Jesus' worthy name. So let the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
I think we have a hot cup of soup that you can get from the Community Service Department to share in our family time this evening. And I think you have an exercise program too. The exercise program that we had before has restarted this evening officially. All right, guys? Thank you for being here.